What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss show. I'm gonna try to make this like my last, like serious personal life episode for a while. I've really been just taking the time on focusing on myself and focusing on like my content, my arts and crafts, and all those other different types of things. Overall, focusing on myself. Focusing on bettering myself and bettering my current life situation. But overall, I wanted to just let you guys know like what's been going through my mind lately. And yeah, just overall, like, I guess like just putting a final nail in the coffin on this like year long situation. Well, not even year long. I have to say like freaking almost 10-year long situation. Yeah, overall, I'm like, man, I do feel like that, this like heartbroken, mindset that I have. I do feel like I'm shaking it. I do feel like that I'm in a much more better like mental state because yeah, like back then last year wasn't so good for me. Wasn't really so good, but overall like I know if anybody were to ask me like where do I like what do I feel right now? Like where am I at mentally? And I have to say like honestly for the first time like since I was 16, I really just don't have like love for people. I mean family of course, close friends of course, but like the way that I've been doing it for like freaking yeah, since I was 16 where it's like, oh, okay, find a girl, catch feelings, those feeling leads into like love and all that crap. Like that, I don't feel that anymore. And so I do think that that's good, and I do think that that's like a step of improvement. But it's like I could tell you guys right now, like I don't feel anything in my heart, and that's like, and it's weird. It's weird, like I was sitting down, just kind of like just thinking to myself and stuff, and I thought that, and I was like, hey yo, like when I sit down and think about it, I don't feel nothing, like, cause I know people probably would ask me like, oh, okay, what like the last girl that I was like had like deep feelings for. I know people would probably ask me like, what would you do if she would have messaged me like right now, wanting to like start things all over and then like work on a relationship between the both of us? I honestly would say no. I honestly like truthfully would say no because to me like that's just gonna be awkward. Like because I feel like when people when they say hey let's start all over, it's like you think that it's gonna be that easy just to forget like everything that went down. I'm not like holding a grudge, but I'm just saying like if I went through all of that and we wasn't even in a relationship, like imagine how it's gonna be when we are in a relationship. Like that type of stuff where I'm like, look, these like these life lessons, I'm tired of these life lessons. So I'm like, nah, until I feel like that same energy that I give out, like feel that, but I'm receiving it, that'll be the only way. But other than that, like currently, right now, nah. I'm like, I definitely ain't gonna set myself up like that. And I'm not saying that, she's like doing it for the like bad intentions and things. Overall, I'm like, I just can't put myself through like no more emotional breakdowns, like emotional like setups. Because my thing is like I don't want to think that I wouldn't want to be in a situation where I'm like, okay, I agree, and I'm like, all right, you know what? Let's put all these things aside. Let's start and all that crap. And then it's like, okay, them feelings come back, but then she's just like, you know what? No, it ain't gonna work. And then I'm just heartbroken. So that's like, I feel like overthinking in some situations can be overall helpful to you and stuff. So at the end of the day, if nothing ever happens, then nothing ever happens. And I honestly just gotta move on. And I do feel like I have moved on. There is this girl that I'm currently, talking to. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's like we're talking or anything. It's like, I just overall, like, I moved on. Like, I'm not going to, sit around and be sad anymore because I'm tired of that person. And I'm tired of being that person. And I'm like, okay, the best way to move on is to move on. Like, you do like them, like that. My thing is like the not feelings but just overall like the memories of like all that stuff that went down is still going to be there, And so the best way to like get rid of those memories is to create new memories. So that's how I honestly got to see it and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not going to put myself in no more situations and stuff where I'm like, okay, and even with this girl, it's like if it don't happen, I'm like, all right, moving on. But I ain't gonna be that person where I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna chase you for like 3, 4 years or however long, and then nothing happens, and then I end up being the one having a freaking emotional breakdown. I'm like, I ain't going through that no more. So I'm tired of that. I'm like, it's, and I can just tell you guys, like, my advice to anybody that like deals with that type of stuff. You've been chasing somebody for that long, and they just, keep pushing you aside and keep pushing you aside, all of that. I'm like, hey, yo, move on. Like, seriously, move on. Like, that's my best advice that I can give you. And it was like stuff that people was telling me that, I need to like move on if like nothing is happening, and I wasn't listening. And overall, I'm like, yeah, it's, that's, I should have listened, because now it's, to just sit here and be like, oh, okay, like, I'm going to be doing that, like, now, like, moving on and stuff. And it's, or like now, and I'm like, I could have did this, like, a few years back. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of messed up, It's like, sorry, sorry to all my friends out there that was like, actually giving me some good advice and stuff. But, yeah, it's like, I just overall wishing things I would have did this a while ago, so I could have dealt with it back then, got it all out my system, and then probably been like all aced out now, like, and not worried about that and things. But anyways, like I said, there ain't no bad blood. If the girl don't ever want to talk to me, if she hears any of these episodes, and highly doubt it, but if she were to, and she were to overall like message me or confront me about it and things, like, I'm gonna like, try to be like calm, cool, and collected, but at the same time, I am just gonna have like a don't care attitude. I'm like, look, at the end of the day, I see it as this, like, anybody can approach me right now and say some of the most hurtful things, and I'm like, I can't feel anything towards it, like, I can't. I can't at the end of the day. And, like, this girl, it's like, outside of like this, like, whole, like, well, I can't really call it anything, but it's like, outside of like what had happened, we were good friends and stuff. Like, I think we are. I don't know. At the end of the day, I really don't know. But, if we never talk, we never talk. If we do talk again one day, then whenever that day is, happens, I'm just going to make sure of it. It's like, hey, look, like, I don't know what's going on with you and your person, because I know, like, she's seeing a guy and everything, and so I'm like, hey, look, there is ever a situation where they were to break up, I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, like, that's all I can say. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to be that person. It's like, oh, I want to be a rebound or try to, like, make my, make like something between both of us like happen. I'm like, no, I'm not, I ain't doing that. I'm like, I feel like probably a younger and not so wise version of myself would have done that, but me, I'm like, nah, I'm just going to just be like, I'm sorry that happened to you, and leave it at that. Because at the end of it, and it's like, I'm not trying to be hurtful, at the end of the, like, I think I've said that before. It's like, she needed somebody to talk to or needed advice. That's honestly all I can do, is just give out advice and just be there to help people and stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I can't do anything else than that and stuff. So, it's like, and I would imagine if it had been like the other way around, like, she would have been saying and doing the same thing. It's like, I think a lot of people don't know. It's like, when, and it's, I try to tell people that it's like, when you put yourself in somebody's shoes, the situation ain't going to change because you're in them person's shoes. When you're in a person's shoes, you're living their life. You have their mindset, okay? You have their heart, their soul, all of it. So that's why it's like, when I've been saying this for years, it's like, when you put yourself in somebody else's shoes, the situation isn't going to change, or it's going to be like, oh, you're going to give out, you're still giving out, you're entering your shoes. You think it's still going to be the same if you're in my shoes? Bro, I don't care what shoes it is. I don't care if it's my Jordans. I don't care if it's my Yeezys. I don't care if it's some Nikes or some other Adidas. You still going to be living the same life that I'm living. So that's why it's like people, they need to, know that just because if somebody says like, oh, be in my shoes, you ain't gonna still have the same life that you have. No, it's gonna be their life. You want to be in their shoes, their mindset, and people are honestly afraid to like think along those lines like that. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, I'm not. That's why it's like I always try to, when somebody tells me to like be in their shoes and understand, I'm like, okay, well then you're gonna have to tell me, like, you honestly gonna have to tell me like what's going on in your mind right now, so I can like know and be like, oh, okay, well now I know how you feel and stuff. So yeah, I'm like, people need to understand that it's like being in somebody's shoes and stuff. It ain't gonna change. It's gonna be the same thing. So, but yeah. Other than that, but life is chilling right now. Like I have to say, like I feel like I am more focused on myself, focused on bettering myself, focused on YouTube and content creating. I had to say like I've gotten a lot of like content done and out of the way like since then and stuff. So I have to say, yeah, I'm in a much more better like mindset and mood and things. I still feel like that. Part of me is like sore. Like I wouldn't say like I'm still hurt, but I just like afterwards, like that soreness is like still there and stuff. But am I happy? I don't know. I really don't know at the end of the day. I don't know whether I am or whether I'm not. I'm not gonna say that I'm mad, sad, and depressed and all of that, but I ain't gonna like lie to people and be like, oh yeah, I'm happy. I'm everything is good, everything is all peachy and nice and all that. I'm like, nah, I can't say that to people and things. But anyways, but I have to say like I'm in a much more better like mood and mindset and stuff, and I honestly do feel like that. Yeah, this these past few years, bruh, where it's like you're trying to chase somebody and convince somebody, it's like, oh, I'm the right person for you, but ain't nothing happening. Oh my, don't want to go through that no more. If I know something ain't gonna happen between me and that girl, I'm like, okay, well then I ain't gonna do this to myself again. Nah, I'm gonna sit there and just be like, all right, well, I'm gonna move on, go over here, do my thing. I'm not gonna be like a player or anything, but I think a part of me is just always gonna be like where it's like, okay, well, there's something wrong with me. And I feel like that's the mindset that I've developed, where it's like, okay, well, I gotta like better myself and make myself a much more better person, because that's like what happens. You start thinking, but it's like, and I know that that's like something that you shouldn't be thinking along those lines, where it's like, okay, if you get rejected, then that means something's wrong with you. Should never think along those lines. So I'm gonna tell you guys that right now. It's like there's nothing wrong with you. That person looks you in your face and say like, oh, you ain't attractive, or you're not my type, or you're not this, or you're not that, or you're doing this, or you're doing, like, there was a one situation I remember where it was this podcast. It was like a clip of this podcast where the girl, she was saying like, you're not a real man if you sit around and play video games. And it's a woman like that will never find a man. She never will. Because I'm like, you gotta sit down and think about it. My thing is this. Can be a guy out there, right? She'll like, and this is honestly, it's like some form of like catfishing, but it's deserved like catfishing, right? So she meets a guy, right? You guys sit down and think about it, because at the end of the day, I know for a fact she wouldn't turn that man down, and she probably would be like, hey, well, you know what, because my thing is like, I've done that, where it's like, people, for an example, it's like the whole OnlyFans wave. I kept telling myself at the start of it, I'm like, I'll never date a girl that's in the OnlyFans and stuff, but I'm like, hey, yo, like, if this is somebody that truly like makes me happy in things, and she's like, me, like the amount of support that I give out and show the people, like if I'm getting that same support from her, but she's doing the OnlyFans stuff, I probably would give her a chance. I'm like, I wouldn't want to be a part of it, but at the same time, I'm like, hey, if that's how she gotta get her bag, then that's how she gotta get her bag. It ain't no different from me getting my bag with YouTube. So it's like, I wouldn't want somebody to judge me for YouTube, so I can't overall sit around and be judging, a woman that does OnlyFans and crap. But back to my, scenario with this girl right from this podcast. I think it was like Joe Budden's like podcast, but he got like a side, because his podcast thing is like a network. So it's like the Joe Budden network, and then it was like a podcast that's like tied in with him or whatever. But anyways, so the girl was like, I think she said she'll never date a man that plays, I was about to say that never do OnlyFans, but no, she said she'll never date a man, or you're not a real man if you play video games. And I remember I reacted to it and the video had got, it didn't get taken down, but it got like blocked worldwide and crap. So I was like, oh well, dang. I'm like, can't even give people my honest opinion about it and stuff. I feel like my opinions when I do a reaction video, I feel like I have more of an opinion rather than trying to go based off of my head and what trying to remember everything that she said in the video and stuff. But anyways, this is what would happen. This is honestly what I think what would happen. So she'll meet a guy, right? She won't know nothing about him. She'll meet this guy, like falls in love with him day one, hanging out with him every single day, right? They get into a relationship. Things get crazy serious. Crazy, crazy serious. Like, I mean, she wants to have kids with this man. So eventually, they move in. Or at some point in time, she goes over to his place, right? Goes over to his place. He's showing her around. He opens up a door. She sees a big, giant screen TV with freaking every single console, PC, freaking all of it. Controllers laid out all over the place. And he's just like, yep, and this is my gaming room. This is my room where I just come here and relax. Where I'm just, I'm feeling good and stuff. What is she gonna, my thing is this. If you break up with that man, that is a wasted, that is just time wasted. Like, you guys sit down and think about it. That was just time wasted. My thing is this. Like, now to put myself in that situation. Now, like, I'm hanging out with this girl, fall in love. We get into this serious relationship. She takes me back to her place. She's showing, showing me her whole place and things. I'm noticing, dang, she got a lot of Gucci shoes on that floor. I'm like, why she got so many Gucci? I'm like, dang, did you used to work for Gucci or something? She's like, oh, no, I got this from my job. I'm like, dang, so she might work for Nordstrom's or somebody. She might work, like, at a popular, high-end clothing store. I'm like, okay. So that's probably what's running through my mind. We sitting down. She's just like, oh, I got to go, work for a little bit. I'm like, well, for a little bit? What you mean? She was like, you know what? Here, I'll show you. Brings me to her room, okay? She just starts stripping down. She's just like, all right, so when I tell you to, just press that button. I'm like, is she doing this for me? Like, I mean, I guess, all right. I mean, I don't know how to overall react to this. So press the button. She then, all of a sudden, I look over. She turns on her computer. She types up, oh, OnlyFans pops up. I see the website. I'm like, oh my God, this girl she is a OnlyFans content creator. And I'm like, and I just helped her take nudes and stuff. I'm like, wow. So my thing is this. I'll probably be like, oh, I didn't even know that you work for OnlyFans. I probably would laugh about it and be joking around with it and stuff. But at the end of the day, that's how I gotta see it. I still got to be, because my thing is this. Why should my my whole personality change because of her job? And when you sit down and think about it, it's like there's so many people out there that they gotta do some crazy jobs just to make a living. So my thing is this: if she's doing this job to make a living, or she loves it, or whatever, I'm like, all right, then that's on her. I think it will probably get weird when she starts inviting guys over, and she's just like, oh, well, I need to up the content and stuff. I'm like, yep. Can't have that. I'm like, I can't be in I don't do open relationships. So I'm like, that's going to be the one thing. I'm like, look, you can do whatever. You can put on whatever clothes you want to put on. You can do whatever you want to do on that website. But once when you start inviting guys, I'm like, can we at least just respect that boundary? Because I'm like, my thing is this. Let's say if I was doing pranking videos, right, on YouTube, and I kept pranking her, and I was breaking her crap, I was, hiding her stuff, jumping out and scaring her. My thing is I be jumping out and scaring everybody and stuff. So I'm like, I don't know. If she did not like that, then, she told me, can I just respect that? I'm like, okay, I will, learn to, well, not even, because I'm like, it's something I gotta develop. I'm like I said, I be doing that to everybody. It's you can't really put that in a situation where it's oh yeah, I'll just be out there, just be inviting people over and just, doing the naughty with them and things. Because I'm like, that don't sound right. So, but anyways, but no, I would respect her wishes and I won't do the things I do. If there was some particular videos I was doing, I'm like, oh, okay, well, if that hurts her and things. But if it had been something I know people have been what if it had been reaction videos? I'm like, okay, that's when I would have asked her. I'm like, how are reaction videos hurting you? Like that's why I'm like, okay, if you're gonna try to compare this, you can't compare me reacting to videos than to compare like you straight up just cheating on me. My thing is like if I tell you like, hey, don't be inviting guys over doing some weird stuff, I'm like, just do that, all right? Just and my thing is like I know people probably would like OnlyFans content creators would be like, well, you could no, I ain't even hearing it because my thing is that I have a friend, she's into OnlyFans. And I believe, and I think she is married. I gotta ask her. I should. I feel like that's gonna be such a weird convo. I haven't talked to her in years, and just be like, "Hey, quick question: do you be, because because I was just curious on how, because like how do you have that conversation with somebody, but but no, I do think because I know she is married, and I do. Well, actually, nah, she did just like she did post on social media, but I think her guy is like her husband is with it and stuff. But she did post on social media how she has like a girlfriend and stuff, and I'm like, whoa, 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 wait a minute, time out. I remember when she posted. I think I remember when she posted about it the first time. I highly doubt she's gonna hear this episode, but no, if she ever does, I'm like, it really tripped me out because when like a woman refers to like her friend as a girlfriend or something, you just like you hear that they had like a whole TV series based off of it and things. So I'm thinking like, oh, okay, that that's her girlfriend, that's her friend, that's like her close friend or something. But then I think I can't remember what I seen that eventually like, oh, this is more. No, this isn't the TV show. This is like actual like girlfriend and girlfriend type stuff going on. Okay, okay. So I have finally caught on to it and stuff. And yeah, I was like I remember just seeing that. I'm like, okay, my thing is this: if you're with it, then you're with it. But if you're not, then it's like I would imagine that her husband would have came out and been like, hey, yo, I'm not with it and stuff. And then some things would have probably been discussed and talked on and so on. But I feel like something like that should have been talked on in the beginning of the relationship. It's like you ain't gonna just surprise a person. So I feel like that, like, and I don't know, like I to sit down and like think about it because I'm like to like put it in like in a scenario and stuff where it's like me and her we went on a few dates and she's just like, hey, I just wanted to let you know like I'm an OnlyFans content creator. I'm like, oh, okay, you just straight up just dropped the bomb on me on that one. Well, I'm a YouTube content creator. And then she had been like, I like sleeping around and stuff. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like, I'm sorry, but I can't respect that. So we could be cool. We could be friends and all. And, I, would just silently unmute, support what you doing and things. Like, I mean, if you ever need advice or you feel like if this is something that you love doing, I would like, hey, I'll just give you the best advice I can. I don't really know too much. I like honestly the only advice I could give out is like advice like for freaking YouTube, Twitch streaming, and TikTok and all that crap. OnlyFans, I can't give you no advice on that. So all I could just do is give you like words of encouragement and just be like, hey, keep doing what you're doing. Like eventually people will support you. I'm pretty sure you could go anywhere and promote that stuff. Like that's with like how it is with me and YouTube. Like I could go anywhere and promote my videos and crap. So I'm pretty sure there's websites out there where you could go there and promote it and things. So but yeah, if it was like I said like, hey, I don't like really accept that, like I can't accept sleeping around. I'm trying to sleep or I'm in my room recording videos and all of a sudden I just start hearing like that and, like nah, I can't, like that just took a turn for the worse. I'm like I can't have that. I cannot have that. So that's something where I'm like, nah, I'm sorry, but I'm like, I can't, that's like a level of disrespect I don't ever want to be reached, like towards me and stuff. So that's why I'm like, nah, you gonna have to change it or something. Cause I'm like, I can't have that. It's already bad enough. It's gonna be like people would approach me or they would recognize her. It's like if there's ever a time where it's like I'm we collaborate and do some videos with each other and things, and she's like people recognize her out in public. They're like, oh yeah, I subscribe, because I know there was that one guy Mike, and when he was dating that girl Lana Rhodes, and then he was saying how like dudes would be recognizing her out in public and stuff. And yeah, it was like, that's weird, because it's like that's something I'm like, that's weird enough, But I'm like, hey, yo, just don't approach me saying some old weird stuff like that. It's like, okay, you reckon. My thing is this: I ain't gonna be going up to people and stuff. If I reckon, like, especially if I was into that type of stuff, I ain't gonna go up to them and be like, oh yeah, yeah, I recognize you from that website. Yeah, I just watched your stuff last night. I'm like, that's weird, bro. Like that's just some weird stuff. So I'm like, can't do that. But yeah, if it was like, but if it would have been like, going back to my scenario and stuff, and then she's all like, oh, well, I do like these sleeping around like videos with guys and things. I'm like, I can't do, I can't respect that. I can't support that. And then she's just like, oh, well, tell me about you and YouTube. And then I'm like, oh, I do like reaction videos, gaming videos, and a bunch of other different videos and stuff. She's just like, oh, I don't like guys that play video games. Excuse me? I'm like, what you mean? My thing is this. I've been like, okay, who do you think, because my thing is this, if your parents got you into OnlyFans, them are some weird parents. Okay, my thing is this, talking to the parents out there, what would you rather get your kids into, OnlyFans or video games? You sit down and you think extremely hard about that question if you're trying to debate on, oh, well, what would I get my kids into, a pornography website or a thing that's literally like they display it. Video games, certain video games, but I feel like all video games are rated E for everybody. It just really depends and stuff. But I'm like, bruh, I would rather, my thing is this. If I were to walk in on my kids, playing video games, I probably got a controller and been like, all right, we can scrap right now. I'm like, you put on Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, any of that stuff, we can scrap right now. All right, I would rather have that conversation because you know what? That's memories being made. That's a form of bonding right there. So you know what? I'm with that, all right? But if I walk in on my kids and then they're doing some OnlyFans work, I will be scarred for life. I actually had just posted an episode on my podcast YouTube channel where it is like an older episode, but it was when I used to do those relationship advice stories, like time things. And it was like on that subreddit relationship advice. And I would like read some people's stories, and that was one of the stories was that the granddaughter, her grandparents had walked in on her while she was, getting busy and things. And yeah, it's like at the end of the day, I would rather for my grandparents to walk in on me playing video games than for some stuff like that to go down. Like, dumb, like my thing is like, what memory would you rather have? Because I'm saying if you done got awkward or weirded out by your parents walking in on you playing video games, like, bruh, I lived for that. You gotta understand this. My parents got me into video games. My dad, I know he played a little bit of video games. My mom, she played some video games and got me and my sister into playing video games. And they really don't play too many games as much now. Then it's like with me being a content creator, I'm playing video games and crap. But I had to give them credit for that. Like my sister, I know she got me into The Sims. My dad, he got me into like what kind of games? Because my dad, he would just buy me any old type of game. Like, but I'm trying to think, did he get me into racing? I feel like both my parents did get me into racing games. My dad got me into more because I remember the first game he got me was like this like street racing game. I think it was called like Tokyo Racer Zero, I think, something like that. And then my mom, she got me into like the Mario games and stuff. So at the end of the day, that's normal. Like that's okay, that's fine. But I'm like, when have you heard? I'm like, my thing is, I feel like I should like do a poll. Because if that is ever up for a discussion where it's all like, oh, well, I wouldn't mind if my parents got, no, do not say that. Do not say that you don't mind if your parents got you into OnlyFans. You is a weirdo, okay, my friend. Something ain't right with you. If you gonna openly say some stuff like that and think you gonna get support from me out of it. Like, nah, I'm sorry, but can't do that and things. Like, that's why you hear a lot of the times where it's like people that do be in them situations, they don't be telling their kids about it and stuff. Like, do you think anybody that be doing like, like videos that's not on YouTube, but it's on like, I don't know, man. You know what? Because they actually did an April Fool's prank, and I like, this is honestly the only word that I can find that rhymes with the particular. I ain't trying to promote this website because it might, I don't know, like, I don't know what would overall happen with my podcast. So that's why I'm like, Corn Hub, but replace the C with a P, my thing is this, do you think anybody that be posting videos on that website or anybody that's in that job profession, do you think they be telling their kids? I mean, if they do, then they're probably telling their kids so their kids won't be getting bullied and crap. Because my thing is this, if my, like, I feel like if I was into that type of stuff, and then like kids at my, in my child's school where they found out about that, if I was doing like Cornhub videos and stuff, then yeah, I feel like, in some situations and cases that a kid would get bullied over some stuff like that. But I feel like that, let's say if I was like the biggest like gamer in things, like I'm going like freaking 30-0 in like Call of Duty, I'm killing everybody in Fortnite, Warzone, PUBG, any other battle royale game, I'm beating records left and right. Like, you got everybody across the world watching me killing it in every video game possible. I don't feel like my kid would he probably would be like the popular kid at school, because everybody would be like, oh, your dad, he's the one that be playing the video games and stuff. Oh, I was just watching his stream last night and things. And then also on top of that, I feel like that you can't get your kid into no Cornhub videos. That's just gonna come off so weird. So weird. Okay, even the stepbrother steps, that's just weird, fam. Like, that's just weird. I know that's a genre, but I'm like, in some real life situations, that's weird, bro. You're gonna end up on Maury or Jerry Springer talking about some stuff. You don't want to do that. But my thing is this, I would rather for my kid to go to school, but the night prior, we're up playing video games, we're sitting there live streaming and things, he's killing it in games, I'm killing it in games, he goes to school next day talking about, Dad, I just made so many friends and stuff, we were all thinking we can play. Do you understand, like, the level of happiness that would make me feel, where it's all like, I did that for my kid, because I feel like that's a hard thing to, do in school. It's like to make friends and stuff, and it's like, I really, at the end of the day, I don't even know how, I don't even remember how I just met. I just think we all just started talking one day, and that's how we became friends. But like, I would feel happy that, that I did that for my kid and stuff. So that's why I'm like, you can't really, have like a negative outcome in some situation like that. But with the other thing, you can, bro. So I'm like, yeah, you're gonna get arrested doing some freaking OnlyFans work with your kids and stuff. So, but anyways, I like how this episode just shared. It was like, it just took so many turns. Like, I like how I started talking on my mental health, and then just got to talking on like freaking like YouTube versus, I don't even know what, I'm gonna try to figure out what I'm gonna call this episode after I'm done. But actually, speaking of being done, go ahead and end this episode. I appreciate everybody for stopping by today, hearing me on this episode. Stay tuned for the next one. Like and subscribe if you're viewing this on YouTube. Make sure you follow or subscribe if you're viewing this on the podcast streaming service. Make sure you subscribe to one of my 33 YouTube channels, including my gaming channel, TMossBoss Gaming. But and then also make sure you follow me on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at TMossBoss, and make sure you also follow me on Facebook at TMossBoss fan page. Meantime, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.